My business partner's Jewish, but I'm hard nigga. Still ghetto, that ain't wrong, is it? Wait to see it long as I'm born, nigga. I'm a California Don, nigga. 100,000 on my car, nigga. You know very well who you are, nigga.
Chains and more chains on the back of my neck and on the end of my wrist. Do you feel my hand when it comes up from 5 fingers to a fist? Making your heart feel like storms and lightning when you enter the bliss. Let me show you what it feels like to enter the soul of God, King Live the gift. I'ma show you how it does, how it stands straight, so yet then how it twists. Let me speak to the mic and decipher and
Black I stand with chains, but you can see me breaking the chains. But you can see me breaking the chains. Black I stand with chains. But you can see me breaking the chains. But you can see me breaking the chains. Black I stand.
Let me vibe on this frequency. Secretly meeting me, people see me flipping knowledge from deepest sleep. Part of me gone, ex-mind prone, disappeared. Having me known, third eye on for the black I stand strong. God King Light, spit this lava to the radio. Esau cold for all the times that they petty for. Take a breath, let J Dizzle tell the rest. Prepare to call, turn up the station, let us build and connect.
You already know what it is. We about to build and connect. All right, so man, it's been a minute. So bear with me if the sound quality ain't 100 right now. I got bad connection where I'm at. It's raining, it's storming. But I thought that this was very important for me to go ahead and reboot this Black I Stand Radio. And I've been really thinking about this for some time now. And I really had to come up with the conclusion that it's necessary. Like it's needed. It's needed right now because anytime there's momentum, and we have been racking up victories. Everybody's seen what happened with the George Floyd and how everybody was on code and we got some things done, and everyone, we let it be known, that we're not going to continue to put up with injustice. And a lot of our people have been getting on code. We have been getting victories. We have been not just catching L's, we've been actually racking up dubs now. So because of that, of course, those who would oppose our legitimate fight for justice would continue to grow. So now we have so much off-code behavior. We have so many enemies that actually look like us. So if you've listened to Black I Stand Radio in the past, then you know that I've said the new counterintelligence program is now our own people being off code. It's our own people trying to neutralize the movement. Whether they're doing it consciously or not, it doesn't even matter. Whether they're being paid by our enemies or they're just doing it out of ignorance, at this point it doesn't matter because the effect is the same. The effect is the same. We have platforms now that are popping up, becoming popular with the help of our enemies, only because the only thing they do on these platforms is attack our people. And some of them just think that they're just being so woke and contrary to what everybody's saying that they actually may not be cognitively aware that what they are doing is off code and dangerous for us as a people. Some, of course, just have an innate hate for us. Some of them just have a fear for progress. The same way on the plantations, house niggas would be afraid of progress. They would be afraid of the idea that maybe one day we'd have to do for self. They would be afraid of the idea that maybe the slave master would be upset if they started to see us make progress. And it's the same thing that is happening right now. So what I want to get into today, we're going to get into a few different subjects. I really don't have too much time. Hopefully everything sounds good. I mean, I'm not going to really be checking the messages. I don't really know if anyone's like talking. I see a few people's already in the listening via the phone. But I do want to say this. This is an important thing to understand as far as like what has been happening with the Ahmuad Abery trial and the verdict, the Kyle Rittenhouse. And then I don't really want to shit on Kwame Brown, but I really just want to make a point because it's important for us to understand and stay focused on message and principle over personality worship. See, I've said it many times before. When it comes to some of these celebrities or some of these high influence individuals, hey, I'm all about supporting their message when they're on code. I'm all about that. What I'm not about is us going to the point to where we start worshiping personalities, because if they turn on us, where does that leave us? See, we can't put certain people on a platform in which we follow blindly what they say. What we do, we don't do that with anyone. We follow principle, because at some point everyone's going to make a mistake. And at some point, some of these high influence individuals, sometimes we don't really know what their end game is. We don't really know what's in their heart. It takes years to really be able to evaluate people and their intentions. It takes years to evaluate this. That's why we listen, when people of high influence and celebrity status, if you want to call it that, when they start speaking on our issues, we should leverage that message when we can. We should neutralize it when we don't need it. That's how I feel. So I'm going to play a couple clips. Like I said, I really don't have too much time. I got to get this done. We're going to make it stronger, then we're going to make it longer. But I want to just go ahead and make that point. I'm going to do that with Kwame Brown, because he's someone who just kind of popped up on the scene. He kind of just popped up on the scene, like, started speaking on these black issues, and it was sounding good. And I actually agreed with a lot of what he was saying. It's important to have, especially in these times, where a heterosexual black male will be neutralized. His voice will be attacked if he's not speaking on the agenda that's coming from those who really wish to neutralize our numbers and to neutralize our masculinity. This isn't about not liking LGBT or any of that. This is just about the fact that we know that there is an actual agenda involved in neutralizing heterosexual voices. So when he came on the scene, as a strong, heterosexual, masculine black man who had some influence, who were saying some real shit. But then, we always have to understand, especially with these celebrities, it's not that they don't have access to information. It's just that we have to really just look at the record. So it's not like, he's just been it's not like these celebrities really just had time to really study these principles that we have been speaking on for years. It's not like they've necessarily developed the sophistication to articulate a message that some of us have been studying for years. It's because they had careers. They've been doing things. Maybe they weren't hip. Maybe, like I said before, they hear our message because they have cousins, they have little brothers, they have aunts, they have uncles, they have Twitter, they have Facebook. They hear the message, and I'm glad when they hear the message and they start to speak on the things that we've been speaking about in this quote-unquote conscious community, or black power community, or black empowerment community. It's a beautiful thing, because it means that we're actually making progress. Our message is actually getting out there. We actually have a voice. The B1, the Black First community, actually has a voice. But we just cannot crown people kings overnight, because when they turn and say some goofy shit, it leaves a lot of people lost. So let's just go ahead and see. I just want, I don't know if you guys are going to be able to hear it on, I know you'll be able to hear it from the Facebook side of the game, but I'm not sure if you're going to be able to hear it from the Blog Talk side of the game. But let me just see. We're going to play it anyway, just to see how it goes. Here we go.
I just don't get it. Our focus should be on Ahmuad Abery. It shouldn't be on Kyle Rittenhouse. That, to me, in my opinion, looked like self-defense. The courts found it as self-defense. The only bad thing is that he had to sit in jail for so long, because they made something political that wasn't or shouldn't have been political. If you're going to get a boy the gun charge, give him the damn gun charge, or let the boy out. I'm sure a 17-year-old walking around with a shotgun would have been a misdemeanor, which would have been probation. He could have been home eating Fruit Loops or whatever the hell he eat. But instead of that, we want to make it like, we want to tie it in. We want to tie it into something black. We want to tie it into something bigger, so we can have people come out and march and get checks off a little teenager's back. And that, to me, is corny. Trying to get money off of teenagers, trying to use the situation for a political gain, to me, that's corny.
All right, so if y'all didn't hear that, I know on the Facebook side it should have came up, but if it didn't come up on the Block Talk Radio, what he basically said is that he believes that Kyle Rittenhouse acted in self-defense. He said the real tragedy is that Kyle Rittenhouse had to sit in jail, and he wasn't at home being comfortable eating Fruit Loops, and people are making this a black or white issue. And let me just say this real quick, you guys. So I got some other clips I'm gonna play, and I know some of them have been able to load up in the Block Talk Radio, so everybody should be able to hear them. I know some of it's still processing, but listen, the Kyle Rittenhouse has to be understood for what it really is. Because I know a lot of people, especially if they're super woke and super black power, their idea is, hey, he killed white people. Who cares? It's not our thing, right? But understand what that really is. This is a war by proxy. Understand that. This is them being on code. And the code in that Rittenhouse trial started from the judge to the prosecution, who was supposed to be prosecuting them, but purposely pretty much just blew the case. The defense, the jury, and the media was all on code. Why were they on code? First of all, ask yourself this. For those of you woke Negroes, who I've been seeing a lot on Twitter and Facebook and other social media, claiming that Rittenhouse acted in self-defense, that is an off-code message. Even if you believe that, that's an off-code message. Because the idea behind the Rittenhouse trial was to set an example for those who would participate, those white people who would participate in justice for us are to be treated like niggas, meaning they can be shot down without justice, meaning that they are off code for going against white supremacy domination over darker people. That's what that was. That's them that's them basically letting it be known that, hey, if you ride with these guys, you can be killed for nothing. They even treated them like niggas. First thing they did with the victims, first of all, I'm going to play a little clip. The judge says you can't even call them victims. That's what the judge said. You can't even call the people that were murdered victims. Then they went into their background, and I know some of them had some backgrounds that was very shady, but the point is, that's what they do to us, because they were treating this as a by proxy. He killed us. He killed those who would support us. He had intentions of doing this before he went out there. They let it slide that he's underage with a gun, going out there to protect property that's not his. See, because that's one of the key words right there. They use looters. What that means is that they're going to value the life, or they're going to value property over our life. And I see a couple people got their hands up, and I'm going to get to you guys in a minute. The idea is that they value property over our life. And then remember, Rittenhouse didn't even get arrested right away. He was able to go to the police with the AR-15, acting like he was the victim. So what they really doing right now, and the reason why it's off code, because even if you believe that, just shut your mouth. Because when you're agreeing with those people who are racist and who undermine our lives every single time we get shot down, what does that look like? Why you should really question yourself when your ideals and opinions are lining up with people who you should know hate us. That right there should be a red flag. That should just let you know right there, because they're not going to do that on your behalf. They're not. You're not going to see them off code to the point where they're going to agree with Louis Farrakhan or somebody who's about black empowerment. They're not going to agree with it even if they know it's true. They're not going to go on record doing that. So when you do that, what you're doing is you're giving ammo to our enemies as to justify the continual fuckery. Because they're going to use the sound bites from us. This is what they do when they want to go against one of ours. They wait until we're off code. Then they use us to justify it so it doesn't look racist. We can even talk about the Nipsey Hussle case. Now, as much as people say that, the police had something to do with it, you can say that's all fine and good. But listen, the fact that they were able to use one of ours, because they knew they couldn't do it. See, they knew that if the police rolled up and shot Nipsey and what he meant to us, LA would have burnt down. The whole West Coast would have burnt down and rebelled. The whole country would have burnt down and rebelled. That's the same principle to why, after King, they never attacked one of our leaders by using one of them. They have to use one of us, because that way they could slide in with this. It's not racist. It's black on black. It's they hate each other. Oh well, look at these messages. The sentiments of the black community is not really with them. So that's why when they see us getting off code about the Farrakhan and everybody's talking about Farrakhan killed Malcolm X, this and that, that's when they decided to take him off the platforms. They really want to take him off the platforms because of those books. They really want to take them off the platforms because they know that our people are starting to get on code like never before seen since the 60s. They know that our youth are not having it. So anything that they can do to neutralize our movement is going to start with those of us who are off code. Let me see what else we got here before I get to the phone lines. I got one more thing I want to play real quick just to show you how on code these folks are. Like if you've seen this trial, you already know. Man, this is let me see real quick. Then we're gonna go to 314. We're gonna go to 216. I'm actually surprised that people are actually on here right now because I haven't done this for a minute. But let me see here real quick. Let's see what we can pull up. For this Kyle. Okay, so first of all, here's Kyle himself. See, the judge would not allow this to be submitted in court, what you're about to hear. The judge wouldn't allow this. But here's Kyle from his own words saying what he wanted to do to quote unquote looters.
To show his state of mind. Rittenhouse is not seen in this video, but prosecutors say he is heard. He's heard wishing he could shoot at people he believed were shoplifting. Here is that video in its entirety.
It looks like one of them has a weapon.
I don't know if you can hear it, but he said, I wish I had
to show his state of mind. Rittenhouse is not seen in this video, but prosecutors say he is heard. He's heard wishing he could shoot at people he believed were shoplifting. Here is that video in its entirety.
It looks like one of them has a weapon. Bro, I wish I had my start shooting rounds at them.
He said it looks like one of them has a weapon, but from the video you can't see a weapon. And he says, bro, I wish I had they bleeped out the fucking AR, my AR, I would start shooting at them. That shows his intention. This was just like a week before the killing, right? So the judge wouldn't allow that. The judge wouldn't allow those who were killed to be called victims. He set the trial from the beginning to go a certain kind of way because he's on code. And then you see that Kyle's throwing up the white boy sign, even though I know a lot of people think that, oh, he's threw up a Mason sign in the court and that's why he got off. That's spooky shit. He didn't get off because of no Mason shit. He's 17 years old. Dude ain't no Master Mason, no Grand Mason, none of that. Alright? He was out there with the Proud Boys. The only thing he threw up that you should be concerned about is the white pride sign that he threw up with the Proud Boys. So keep in mind, this is what you're co-signing when you say that he acted in self-defense. Because we're short on time, I'm going to go ahead and go to area code 314. Welcome to Blackistand Radio. What's your name? Where you calling from? What's on your mind?
My name is Pionk. I'm calling from the Midwest. Did they show Kyle saying that?
It was an audio only. So the video only was an audio.
I thought so. Well,
yeah.
Yeah, well, that's no proof. But that decision in Georgia was a good verdict.
Yes, it was.
After I read what the accomplishments done, especially shooting at the man 3 times, as they said he's done. And I approve Kyle Rittenhouse verdict too. Matter of fact, I contribute to his GoFundMe.
Wow. And
also some other cases.
Okay.
And I'm Black American.
Well.
And so much stuff was going out about what about this case in where this black man ran these paraders down? Have you been kept up on that, Mr. Brooks?
Well, I've seen it. For all I know, that could have been a controlled opposition type of situation, and we don't know if the people he ran over are victims because they might have a record. You know what I mean? So we shouldn't really use that.
Well,
we should use the same precedents that they set with the Kyle Rittenhouse trial. So we're gonna assume he's innocent and that he was acting in self-defense. For all we know, those paraders could have been chasing him. They could have flashed a weapon at him. He might have been trying to get away to save his life. So that's how we're gonna do
Yeah,
that.
but what I seen on the tape, not to get into no argument, he was zigzagging to make sure he hit people.
Well, he might have been trying to get
And
away.
looking at his record, looking at the record this guy had, and that the system failed by letting him back out on the street. And Nevada, what did he do? Had impregnated a 15-year-old. But one other thing,
Yeah.
the number 2,919, 382, in 178. That's the number of black blacks has been shot by other blacks in Chicago. No white police shooting. 382 murders in 178 days since Memorial Day. And the people, it looked like the authorities not doing anything of substance. That there is a tragedy.
Well,
that is a tragedy.
You're right, it is.
You can't have a nice
however,
day.
But you have to understand is that white people kill each other at the same rate. Asian people kill each other at the same rate. The only time it's an issue, the only time it's made an issue is when they label it black on black, and that is only to undermine our legitimate cries for justice. You never hear anyone say white on white crime. You only hear black on black crime. But blacks don't kill each other at a higher rate than any other race. That's an environment issue. So I do agree that is something that we have to that we have more control over, and that we should do something about, and has been doing something about, because these numbers have been down the last 20 years. But I don't want to get into
I'm gonna tell you, and I'm not, like I said, I ain't for the argument.
Yeah.
But I've watched this for a long time. Ain't no ethnic group killing like that.
Yeah, they are. The numbers are the numbers. The statistics are the statistics.
There's no ethnic groups killing like that. And I've been around a long time.
Well,
never have I seen that.
That's
so
because
anyway,
you don't see it on
TV.
Okay, I'll do that. But that's a good example right there, what was stated with the black on black crime narrative. And that's a narrative that is exclusively used for us. Because when whites kill whites, they don't say white on white crime. When Asians kill Asians, they don't say Asian on Asian crime. So now they have us mimicking their same talking points, and that's the point I'm talking about being off code. I don't want to disrespect that brother, because I recognize that brother. He's called in. He's been a supporter of the show for years, but I flat out disagree 100% with pretty much everything he said. I disagree. I mean, he donated money to Rittenhouse. You're donating money to something. Listen, wouldn't that be an example of white on white crime? How come it wasn't framed like that? And the idea that you would support someone who was only there throwing up Proud Boy shit. He was only there because he wanted to kill black people. Just so happens some white people got no way. But anyway, we're going to go ahead and take it to the 216. Welcome to Blackistand Radio. What's your name? Where you calling from? What's on your mind?
What up? What's good, bro? It's Jobs.
Jobs, what's up? My skin is my sin radio in the building. What's up, family?
Come on, man. You should have been came back.
Man, I mean, I guess I'm going to have to.
Got to, bro.
Hey, but I got to say like this, man. You've been doing a good job over there, man. With my skin is my sin. I see. I seen the Rittenhouse crying meme that you was that was classic. That really was. What's on your mind though, bro?
Yo, man. I'm of the ilk that I don't give a fuck, bro.
Okay.
It's not us.
I hear you.
And to say, like white people been on code since they stole us.
Yeah.
So them being on code is not a news flash for me.
No, it's not.
You feel me? Like everything, you're right. Everything they did was expected. It was.
Yeah. Only
thing different is the outcome was other white people. Why should should that concern me? I just don't. It's hard for me to wrap my head around that concept, I guess.
Well, I would say that on a micro level, I agree. I mean, the people that he killed apparently were pieces of shit anyway. One was a pedophile, right? So it's not that I care about those individuals. It's just the principle. I understand what's going on, like we just spoke about, the uncodeness. So the principle, the precedent that they're setting is that, hey, if you kill people at a Black Lives Matter protest, which are usually going to be us, that you can get away with it. And they're also saying that, hey, if you're white and you're supporting Black Lives Matter, then we're going to treat you like you're black and your deaths will mean nothing. So it's just it's something that's set in motion to be bigger than what actually happened at that particular thing. So it is of our concern on a macro level, not necessarily on a micro level, because I have the same sentiments as you when it comes to like who he off, because who he off, they were pieces of shit. You know what I'm saying? Like it is what it is. You know, pedophiles and other cats that did egregious shit. But he didn't know that, and no one knew that until they dug into the record. And the only reason they dug into the record is because they wanted to undermine him the same way they wanted to undermine Trayvon Martin when he was killed by Zimmerman. So I'm just saying they're playing a bigger game. See, they don't mind sacrificing their own if they're on code.
They don't.
If they're off code. And see that's something maybe we can learn from. They don't mind throwing their own under the bus. It's the same thing that happened in the 60s when those Jewish kids were killed with the black brother. I want to say in Mississippi or somewhere down there. They killed them because, hey, you guys are out here, you know, we're on code about fuck these Negroes and segregation, and they should be subject to our rule, and you're out here trying to push for justice for them, so you could be found in the lake the same way as them. They're putting them on that same level. So that's the reason why.
Actually worse than them. Like you.
Yeah, because now you're a traitor. You're a traitor to the system that benefits you.
Absolutely.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's
like,
why
I get that, but even from a macro perspective, like I look at the macro as us as a whole and what we need to do.
Right.
Like again, all of that what they did was expected.
Right.
Been doing it for centuries. Right. You know, so the only way it's gonna change is when black people as a whole decide that we're not taking this shit no more.
Right. And so let's go ahead and pivot to the Ahmaud Arbery case, because I don't want to make it seem like because we didn't really take a L with the Rittenhouse. I don't want it to be confused.
No,
it's not like we took a L.
No.
And in fact, there's probably little we could have done in that case because they were so on code and because they happened to have everything in place. Like for instance, that DA in the Ahmaud Arbery case, she also got charged because she didn't want to pursue. It took them like over 2 months before they even pressed charges. Yeah. Right? So, but we still can claim a victory on the Ahmaud Arbery because, as we've seen, they didn't want to charge him. They didn't want to even make it a thing. It was because of black media. That means like media outlets like yours, other black independent medias. That means just people on Facebook and Twitter just making sure that this thing didn't get buried. You know what I'm saying? Is why we got the results we did, and we continue to put pressure. So I want it to be known that yes, when we're on code, we can claim victories, and we have been seeing this more and more, over the past year. So I know we don't really celebrate our victories enough, I feel sometimes, because yes, our coming together and being on code is why we've been getting some of these results. It doesn't mean it's going to be 100%, but the fact that now we all have a voice and we can make sure things don't get buried under the rug, that's a good thing. We put the pressure on this Ahmaud Arbery case, and we got the results that it should have been, which is, everybody's getting life, everybody's being convicted for that heinous crime.
No, bro.
What?
That is absolutely not the result it should have been.
What should have been the result?
Until we as the collective start meting out justice for ourselves, we ain't got no dubs, bro.
I'm gonna call it a dub. I mean, of course, we would want to see.
Did not have seen a courtroom, bro.
Yeah, I feel you on that.
Yeah, if the shoe was on the other foot, you guaranteed. Look what happened. Nigga just jogging. That's it. And we can get in our cars, chase your ass down, and murder you.
Well,
come on, bro.
I hear what you're saying, but we seen Emmett Till cats walk. We seen the cats who bombed the churches walk. So at least now, we're able to at least, maneuver enough to where at least they're being charged, because they didn't want to charge them at first. That's why it took over 2 months. They didn't even want to charge them. So, so we do have to at least acknowledge that our participation did lead to results that wouldn't have been had we not at least done that, because we've seen so many times that didn't happen. We know what true justice really would have been, right? Like we both know what we would really like to see happen to them cats.
Yes.
But understanding that we're still dealing with their system, at least we put enough pressure on the system to get those results. We could at least look at that as as a way to measure what we did right there to get those results, and then we could take it to the next level. You know what I'm saying? And this is why, so the results that you're talking about means that there should have been pull up, and I 100% agree. Now, in order to get pull up, you see, we have to be able to have the end facts. We have to be able to have some of these youth that are, that are just ready to say, fuck it, fuck it. You know what I'm saying? But unfortunately, yeah, right. So that's one of the parts that we have to really talk about. And this is why, like, there's cats like, I'm just gonna say it, Taharka Bay, for instance, who as soon as that Grandmaster Jay, and I know he's been on your program a couple of times, but as soon as he came out, we had like people like Taharka Bay who just wanted to do everything to undermine what he's doing. And it's like, okay, even if you don't agree with him specifically, even if he did some goofy shit by saying he had Grammys, whatever, the principle behind black men strapping up, black men and women strapping up and saying, we're not having this no more. We need that, period. We need that, because that's where the true justice would come from, right? So we can never neutralize those movements. They would never neutralize their, should we call them radical? They would never neutralize their militias that are intended. Matter of fact, that's what we saw at the Rittenhouse case. Those were militia, armed militia that was there. You did not see their people you didn't see their people going out of their way to say that's not right, that's not what we should be doing. Those guys are agents, so you didn't see that. Even those who didn't agree with it, they just shut the fuck up. That's how we should be sometimes, is what I'm saying. But we do have dubs that we rack up from time to time, and we got to go ahead and acknowledge that. But that doesn't mean that we're finished. It doesn't mean that the game's over. It doesn't mean that the real justice that most of us wanted to see. The only justice that we really, really wanted to see was them getting the same treatment.
The real justice.
Yeah, the real justice. But it's not gonna be overnight. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yo, I posted a meme on Instagram, and it said that Kyle Rittenhouse raised $2 million and walked.
Damn.
Grandmaster Jay raised $200,000. Like, come on, black people.
Right.
Even if you like you said, man, even if you don't like him, we need this nigga out for whatever reason. A lot of people fucks with him. I get personal phone calls after we do shows with him, like, bruh, I fucks with him heavy, X, Y, and Z. How can I email him? Crazy.
Right.
Like we need to get over the emotional aspect. I don't care if you don't like him, like you said. I don't care if he X, Y, and Z. The visual of what he was able to do is why he going through the things he going through.
Right. Right. And think about the youth, right? We're of a certain age. These youth may not have the guidance, but they're about that action. One thing that we've seen with that George Floyd situation is, even if they don't know what to do, they know they want to do something, because they know that shit ain't allowable. You know what I'm saying? So let them go ahead and go through their chambers and make their mistakes, and we should guide them as much as we can. But that example right there, like if we have our youth wanting to be, in fact, over being gangbangers, I would say that's progress. I would say that's going in the right direction. We should never neutralize that shit. We should never make them feel like, you shouldn't do that because these guys are this and that. We should never do that, because that would be an appropriate way to go, even if you don't necessarily agree with them as an organization. We know that the direction-wise, we have to trust the youth enough to know that at least they want something to change. And if they don't have the proper guidance, that's on us.
Facts.
But the fact that they do want different results, and that's what we've seen. And we've seen a lot of beautiful things with this George Floyd. George Floyd was just a catalyst. You know what I'm saying? Like, people, it wasn't just George Floyd. It's just that was so egregious, so blatant, that even white people had to disassociate themselves from that shit and be like, nah, that ain't us. We enjoy our white privilege. However, that ain't cool. You know what I'm saying? So that's why this Rittenhouse thing is important, because they're seeing that their people are. So, like, remember, I know you're aware of Fred Hampton, Chicago, right? So Fred Hampton was a Panther, but he also deliberately went out to even white racist groups, poor whites, and let them know, like, look, we could fight all we want. However, The system is against both of us because you already know when it comes to like these Trump supporters, most of these Trump supporters, poor white trash, uneducated.
Are dumb.
Trump didn't do shit for them, right? His policies are not. It's like what did Dave Chappelle say? He's like, yo, I mean, like Trump's benefiting him more than these poor white folks that are voting for him. So now that this is starting to be more understood, because it's not just having to get messages from the mainstream media. Now they could tune into My Skin Is My Sin. Now they can go on Facebook and YouTube and get the ideas organically from us. So at this point, it's too hard to continue to fool the masses. So when now they're seeing that, well, some of these white people are going to gravitate because maybe they don't just have a straight up hatred. Not to say that they don't appreciate their white privilege. Not to say that they don't participate in racism, not necessarily hatred, but racism. But a lot of them are also at this point like, now we don't want to stand with that. So because that is happening, that is why Rittenhouse had to go the way it went for them, to show that, hey, look, you know what I'm saying, this is still white supremacy that we're pushing, and we're gonna eliminate our enemies even if they look like us, because they're going against the grain. They're not being grateful for what we have set up for them. You know what I'm saying? So that's just kind of how that goes. So the idea that Rittenhouse was acting in self-defense, I don't give a damn if he really was. The point is, who cares? Just shut the fuck up right now. Because by doing that, you're giving them leverage now to say it wasn't racist when they know exactly what it is, but they're not going to say that. They're going to pretend, no, he was just within his right to do this and that. They know what it really was. All these pundits on Fox News and whatever, they know what that really was about. They're not going to call it out as blatantly and honestly as what we know it is. That's why I say on the macro level, they're setting precedents for things to happen in the future. So now any white boys, go ahead.
They remember something, bro.
Say that again.
And they know it's coming too.
Say that again.
They remember South Africa.
Right.
And they know it's coming too.
Right. Exactly. They understand their history. They understand, you know what I'm saying, the dynamics of these different things. So they're trying to nip it in the bud. Go ahead.
The difference is we have way more anger than any other black people on the planet.
That's right.
Towards them, rightfully,
because we built a whole system that we don't benefit from at the same rate. And we are a particular, and I don't want to, this is no disrespect to the African brothers on the continent or those that are newly here, but we know who we are, and everybody else does too. And more than anyone else, we stand up against the white supremacy regime like no others have. It's outside of maybe Haiti, who made mistakes in the end. So and not only that, we have influence. See, it's our influence that when we're on code, we'll even influence others. So like, I know a lot of people are like, oh, we don't need no white people protesting during the George Floyd. No. Understand something. First of all, we back all their movements. The feminist movement, they didn't got our sisters in the feminist movement single as a fuck, talking about they don't need a man, while the white feminists are going home to their husbands being submissive. You know what I'm saying? And our women we don't need a man, and fuck that. Woo, woo, woo. Right? So they used our people for the feminist movement. They use it for the LGBT movement. They use it for even now the blacks for Trump's type of shit. They use us as pawns in their shit. So why not when they're on our side for some justice, which is, first of all, they owe us that to be on the front line. And second of all, like, if they're decent human beings, they should be standing with that. We haven't seen that in the past to the capacity of now. But understand our influence. If we could have the whole world breakdancing, sagging their pants, calling themselves nigga, wearing skinny jeans, doing all these goofy challenges, that's the influence that we have as a people. So of course, if we're on code and now we're marching and saying that, yo, we want justice, we want real consequences for those who unjustifiably murder us, then we're going to be able to influence people even outside of ourselves to do that. And that's why they had to make an example with this Rittenhouse.
I feel you.
Yeah.
They done made the celebrity too.
What?
They done made that motherfucker. And I'm sorry, bro. I'm taking up your whole damn show. I'm sorry. Let me go and let you go, bro.
Okay, it's all good. We winding it down in 15 minutes anyway. But yeah, you're right. They made him a celebrity. They're probably gonna make him a political figure. He was seen with Donald Trump. You know what I'm saying? They're gonna make him. They're gonna make him a hero. They're gonna make him something to be behold, and they're gonna use him as they see fit. And this is why I'm saying it's not a good idea for those of us who are of the idea that it was self-defense and that we're going to scream this shit online and contribute to his cause, because they're going to use him against us. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That I agree with you wholeheartedly. Anyway, man, dope as always, man. I'll holler at you.
Yeah, I appreciate you, family.
You already know, man.
All right, peace. All right, so I see some other people that's putting their hands up to join the conversation real quick. But what I want to do real quick before we get to the next callers, I want to play a quick clip because we only got about 15 minutes. I got things I got to do. You know, so I do appreciate, man. I really didn't expect with very short notice this many people to really actually be rocking with me right now. But I want to play this because I know a lot of people, especially the new woke black movement now, is all about Trump is a good. And listen, and I'm not a Biden supporter. If you follow me, you know I said Biden was trash a long time ago. As far as like presidential candidates, there were some presidential candidates that I thought deserved a second look. So I'm not for Trump or Biden, but this is a by proxy coded situation. So we know those who are of the racist alt-right, they lean towards the Trump. Rather you say Trump is really racist or not doesn't matter. The KKK and Proud Boys back him. So just understand that. That's why I'm saying being on code. Not because individually we're looking at all this stuff in a micro level, but macro level, those who back Biden are more of the Black Lives Matter crowd, and they know that. I'm not saying that we know Jim Crow Joe ain't shit. He ain't shit. But I'm saying like from the perception, this is what it is. So this is Donald Trump speaking on Kyle Rittenhouse. Now remember, this is the same dude who came in the gate talking about all Mexicans are drug dealers and murderers. This is the guy that came in the gate in reference to black protesters at his rally, saying that back in the days we would have had him on a stretcher and they would have never did this, and I'll pay for all the legal fees if anybody fucks him up. So this is the kind of shit that you're actually supporting with that Kyle Rittenhouse was acting in self-defense shit. Just peep game.
Welcome to Mar-a-Lago. It's Kyle Rittenhouse posing with former President Trump. Trump revealed the visit on Fox News last night.
Kyle, I got to know him a little bit. He called. He wanted to know if he could come over. He's a really good young guy. He's 18 years old. Just left Mar-a-Lago a little while ago. And he should never have been put through that.
The visit comes amid controversy over what's being called the lionization of Rittenhouse by some conservatives.
Thank you for having me on.
Meanwhile, in an appearance with Ashley Banfield on News Nation, Rittenhouse tried to explain how he came to give the white power sign in this notorious photo, which was taken in a bar while he was awaiting trial. The men he's posing with are said to belong to the far-right Proud Boys.
Why have you associated with members of groups like the Proud Boys? Why have you used hand signs that are commonly associated with white supremacy?
That's a good question. I didn't know that the OK hand sign was a symbol for white supremacy, just as I didn't know that those people in the bar were Proud Boys.
Was it a complete mystery until the headlines popped up later?
I found out they were Proud Boys when I saw the headlines. I thought they were just a bunch of like construction dudes based on how they looked.
That's good. That is a good one. One more thing real quick. One more before we get to these calls.
Disturbing video.
That somebody could have just committed such acts and then just basically get up and walk as if nothing had happened. It defies imagination.
So who is this young man who is sparking the intense national debate? Rittenhouse attended a Trump rally in Iowa in January and sat in the front row not far from the president.
So the point of that was only to show you, like, listen, this is not me. trying to say that Biden's better than Trump. To tell you the truth, I thought Trump would have been a better choice based on the fact that he didn't make any actual laws against our people like Biden did. I thought Trump would have been a better choice because and before the corona situation that he mishandled and just blatantly showed how selfish he was. You know what I'm saying? But we know that those who typically back Trump are of the racist fold, the alt-right, straight up racist fold, not even the secret racist, just straight up racist. So when you see him backing Kyle Rittenhouse and you see, all these other alt-right haters of us back in Rittenhouse, that alone should let you know that just to support him is to be off code and go against us. But look, I'm gonna go ahead and because I only have about 10 minutes left, and I want to play a couple more clips before we get out of here. First, I want to thank everybody that's listening, everybody that's called in. Saying, like I said, this is Blackistand Radio. I haven't been live for a minute, and I do feel like obviously I'm needed out here. This platform is needed, and not just because of me, but because of the other people that participate with the platform. And these voices are very necessary, especially since we have so many that are going against the grain, purposefully or willingly or unwillingly, but the effect is the same. So now we're going to go ahead and go to area code 303. Welcome to Blackistand Radio. Where are you calling from? What's your name and what's on your mind?
Hey, what's going on, Jay? How you doing?
Is this Shabaka?
Yeah, yes, sir. How you
What's
doing?
up?
And as you know, I'm the executive producer of Shabaka's Black Experience Enhanced and the podcast, and we're going to address a similar issue as well, too, with the Ahmuad Abery situation. And Kyle Rittenhouse, man, you know it, and I know it, man, and all of Black America knows it, that dude went up there to Kenosha, man, to go kill black folks, man. Those other incidences, man, were some incidentals on the way.
Come on.
And then, as you so elaborately had pointed out, he's making all these hand signals, things like that, So I guess, them Proud Boys got their way of communicating amongst themselves, But they're very serious, man, about our demise, and we're going to be, and we've been upgrading our podcast a little bit, man. Definitely check out some of our past issues. Also, too, check out Frontline Black News. They're working with us. Shabaka's Black Experience Enhanced. Also, too, check out the Revolutionary Agenda on YouTube. And in addition to, you could just tell by the political fervor, man. It's up to us to take care of us. And also, too, we're seeking tangibles, man. Tangibles 2021. Something specifically for us in regard to our votes is because everybody knew what Biden was, man. He's the one that pushed that federal crime bill during the Clinton administration. So heavily tough in the Senate. You see what I mean? And then also, too, the vice president, the former attorney general of California, she didn't have, too much of our people's interests at heart. Look what happened to Mario Woods in San Francisco. Look what happened to Oscar Grant, man, at the Fruitvale Park Station.
Right.
So, and as you're saying here, coming on code is because we're dealing, like I said, Tuesday night on our episode, getting on code as well, too. Please call in and join us. And we got to have a code for our economics, for our education, for securing ourselves, because we do have a right to live, we have a right to exist, and we have a right to survive.
That's right. And let me just say this real quick, brother. I've been peeping how you've been growing your platform, man, and what you've been doing. Like, I've been paying attention, and I love what I'm seeing. I love what I'm seeing from all the different platforms that from the liberation-minded media fold, because they're pushing it. And that's actually why, in part, I really felt like, I could step aside, because I was like, man, we're in good hands. We got brothers like you, brothers like Jobs, brothers like Knowledge Board of Law, Renee Black. We got Crystal Tucker. We got a lot of great programming on the underground Black First agenda, to where I felt like I could step back for a minute.
Yes, sir.
It's just that I started seeing all the influx of these new coons. So I seen the influx of all these coons coming out, and I'm like, we really need to fortify it. But I appreciate, man, and I notice what you've been doing, man, and you're a good brother with a good platform and a good voice that needs to be heard and need to be supported.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, and appreciate that they're coming from you, man. And then also, too, is that when it comes to these elections, pre-elections or what have you, man, just look what happened like off in the last, 5, 6 years. And for us to get some true political power, man, we need some economical power.
Yes.
And also, too, we're pushing the agenda with this critical race theory. We did 2 shows on that. That's the information they don't want our children to have. And as you had pointed out, men are coming all up feminized and shit. Looking at this garbage that's coming out of Los Angeles, Come on, man. Dudes going out here wearing dresses, man.
Come on. Bullshit. Listen up. Hey, I want you to stay on. I want to bring on another caller, but I want you to stay on as well because we're going to wind this down. But before I bring on the next caller, I just want to just show you a little bit more about the uncodeness that was happening at the Rittenhouse and why. And first of all, let's claim our victories. Okay, we didn't get exactly what we want from the Ahmuad Abery, but we did get a victory. So we have to acknowledge that so we can continue to move in a way that will have these type of results. But I'm going to play this quick clip.
True that.
Then I'm going to bring in 487. I want you to stay on the line as well. All right, brother, if you have the time.
Okay, Jay.
All right, hold up.
The word victim is a loaded word. And I think alleged victim is a cousin to it. Let the evidence show what the evidence shows, and if the evidence shows that any or more than one of these people were engaging in arson, rioting, or looting, then I'm not going to tell the defense they can't call them that.
So that was the judge at the Rittenhouse trial saying that calling those who were slain victims is a loaded situation. I understand that this same judge who foolishly had his phone on during the trial, when the phone rang, it was Trump's rally. It was Trump's rally. What do you call that? Like his rally call for his rallies, whatever. Basically, he's a Trump fan. So let's go ahead and bring in 487. I just want to give examples, but remember, we are not losers. We have more power than we understand sometimes, and when we're on code, we get results. This is why I want this to be understood, because I want to continue to rack up dubs. I want to empower not just those of us who may be 30 plus, but I want to empower these youth to know that they have a voice and they have power if they use it. So anyway, 487.
Oh, absolutely.
Welcome to Blackistand Radio.
Yeah.
Hello. You there, caller? 487. 206-487. You're on.
Oh, peace. This is Amarchi with
What's
Beautiful
up?
Purpose.
How you doing, Queen?
What's going on? So I just wanted to say, first of all, I appreciate you coming back to Blackistand because, just listen to you throughout the years. For me, it was super dope. Things I needed to hear. I don't keep up with the news. I don't watch all that stuff.
Yeah.
But it's really sad that we have to continue to explain what being on code is, about being black first, to stand against white supremacy, the detrimental things that we do, even when we jump on Facebook and we talk about our people, us women, we talk about, the men that we're dating. White women don't do that when their men cheat and do all that. So I just appreciate this platform and hope that you keep it going.
And I appreciate you too, love. You know that.
Yes.
So Amarchi is a very dope, talented individual. Why don't you plug your businesses? Plug what you do.
I have a natural hair salon in the Seattle Renton area. Also, we do natural products, Dr. Sabi approved, as well as dealing with the herbs, and that is with Higher Self.
Yes.
As well as just doing some other stuff that we're going to be coming out with in the next few months.
Come on now. Exactly. So this is just an example. Look, I want people just to understand, like, we don't approach this as victims anymore. Okay? We call ourselves kings and queens. We have to act appropriately. It doesn't mean everything's going to be perfect. What it means is that we take the power and we assert our power when we can. Doesn't mean we're always going to have victories. It just means that we're gonna keep rolling with the punches. So, and you're right, what you were saying about how black women will disrespect black men, and black men do the same. And these are things like internally that
Indeed.
these are things internally like, and these things happen, right? But at least acknowledging and knowing that is how we can change that, and at least we could do it in a way that
90 seconds.
and we're running out of time. But at least we could do it in a way that is actually constructive, because we need that black man and black woman. We need that to be a powerful thing. We need to demonstrate how black men and women can coexist in the same type of love
Yeah.
that we did, that got us through what we got through. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
So it's not that everything's gonna be perfect, but it's just that at some point we have to at least demonstrate that, because
60 seconds.
they're making an effort to purposely only show us effeminate black men. They're making an effort to purposely not show us the successful black couple. When we see black couples, we see Will and Jada. Now, however you feel about the Will and Jada, just understand that it's cap when that is the only example. They don't even show us the Jay-Z and Beyonce who have been a successful black couple, blah blah blah. They show us the messy shit. And I'm not taking any sides of that, but I'm saying just understand what that really is representing. They don't like to show a strong black couple. That's going to be for us to be that example. We have to be that example in our personal lives, and we have to reflect that so that people understand, like, yo, this is a normal thing. It has to be
10
normal.
seconds.
It has to be normal when they see a black man and black woman showing love to each other and using their love for each other and their skills to build. That has to be the new norm. You know what I'm saying? Shabaka, you still with us? Shabaka, you with us, brother? He might be running around and stuff. So, it's 2 o'clock. I didn't really want this to go too long. But I do appreciate anything else that's on your mind, sis, that we could build on before we get up out of here?
That's it.
All right.
That's it.
So
Good show.
So here's what I want to do. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put you in the mute, and thanks for calling, Queen. Nothing but love for you. You know that. Here's what I'm going to do, you guys. I want to end this show. I really just want to make a quick show. I just really wanted to just get back in the groove of things. So I know, like, I still got to do a couple things to make sure that the quality is good, make sure that the video. Oh, matter of fact, shout out to Amarachi for making the graphics as well. But what I wanted to do really with this episode is just get back in the groove of things and just kind of share my opinions on things. What I'm saying, I'm not ever gonna act like what I'm saying is 100%. But I do know that it's on code, and I do know from demonstrating this for years on Blackistand Radio. Listen, my shit is on point, and I'm not trying to I'm not trying to fluff myself or give myself too much credit, but I know that this is needed because we have so many people that are going against our agenda. They're going against us purposefully. They're going against us inadvertently. It don't even matter. The effects are the same. So I want everybody out there, all of y'all out there that are sincere and pure of heart, to continue to support the real messages. Don't fall for personalities. Don't even fall for my personality. Don't get caught up on me because you may think as a person I'm just a dope person and my personality is dope. Go by my principles. If what I'm saying makes sense, ride with that and support that. You don't have to support me as an individual. You don't have to worship me as some type of whatever. Just don't do that. Just if what I'm saying makes sense, apply what you could apply. You don't have to agree with everything. Everybody that calls don't have to agree. I don't have to agree with everybody that calls, but I'm going to take what's necessary. I'm going to take what could be used to better our people, because everything that is going down is bigger than us as individuals. And when we learn to play the game, see, this is why I say things like, look, when it comes to this politics, we can say we don't want to deal with the politics if we want to. We can say that our people didn't die to vote. That could all be true. But what I'm saying is we could dominate any damn thing that we do. We've proved this with sports. We've proved this with music. We've proved this with entertainment. Anything we do, if we get a fair shake, we don't even need a fair shake. If we just get a chance, we're going to succeed and elevate. So now we have to also play the economic game, as Shabaka said. Yeah, we have to play the political game. The political game isn't just voting, right? The political game is how you allocate your resources. The political game is how you approach certain situations and what message you put out. Everything is political. Everything. So whatever your skill is, whatever your passion is, you use that to benefit, first of all, yourself and your family, but also your community and your nation. I want to thank everybody that called in. I want to thank all the platforms out there that's holding it down. I want to thank those who support, and you are going to hear more from Blackistand Radio. We actually looking for a co-host or two, preferably a brother and a sister that can build, because I don't want to just be the only person that's building on here. I want to get a diverse panel of people who have different ideas, that we don't have to agree, but at least what we could do is be on the same page. Because when we have a mission that's bigger than self, all the little things that plague us become insignificant. When we understand that what we're doing is bigger than us as an individual, I'm going to die, but I have a legacy I have to leave. We're going to die, but are we going to set in motion something in the future that could benefit us as a whole? So the principles of what we're doing is bigger than the individual. I want everybody to remember that. I love you guys. Appreciate you guys for the support. We're going to go ahead and end this right now. This is Blackistand Radio, Liberation Minded Media. Make sure you check out Shabaka's Black Experience. Make sure you check out Knowledge Born Law and Do the Knowledge Radio. Very dope show. Make sure you check out My Skin Is My Sin. Jobs is doing a good job over there with Rome. They're putting it down. My good sister from KC, actually two good sisters from the Missouri area. That's Renee Black and Crystal Tucker. Appreciate God King Lieth for the tracks. My sister in Pittsburgh, Queen E. Everybody, it's nothing but love. I'm out. Peace.
Thank you for using Blog Talk.